LeAlan, hold tight, and I want to come back to you, Amy. I've got Dominic on the phone lines. Dominic, thanks for calling off 63rd. What's your comment, Dominic?
My comment is I think that people need to take a good look at Rahm Emanuel's reputation as a bulldog and a tyrant. We already have one outgoing tyrant, and I don't think Chicago needs another one of those. We need a mayor who cares about the people and not a guy who's going to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, to whomever he wants. Rahm Emanuel's already, like Daley, laying awake at night trying to figure out how to get into taxpayers' pockets, and we just don't need any more of that.
Wow. Dominic, thanks for the call. The Rahm tax, uh-oh, LeAlan, what do you think? He's calling him a tyrant. He's not even in office yet. What do you think, LeAlan?
I think, unfortunately, I mean, because 75% of all political campaigns are media run, and they're subject to, I think, criticism that may be unwarranted or warranted. The facts are Rahm Emanuel probably does have a better track record for working with government at this time. When we look at what's going on in Wisconsin, what Amy talked about, what's going on in Ohio, when you look at the fact that you're going to have downgrades on state and municipalities' debt. You may have a municipal debt crisis. We're going to have a crisis in 2 weeks, potentially, with the federal government showdown with the debate between the Republicans and the Democrats. So you don't want to have a novice in place at this point in time. And what you would hope that should happen is that the city council has a lot more strength in dealing with these matters, because we've known at least for the last 15 years that they've been rubber stamps for a tyrant's agenda. So you don't want to blame the tyrant, blame the people that follow the tyrant.
Oh man, Amy, weak council, strong mayor, or vice versa. What's your comment?
Well, he's going to dominate everything, but the latest ads about the tax cuts he's going to bring, how is that going to happen when our budget deficit keeps growing every day? It's growing while we're sleeping at night. And no one's addressing the bleeding and the hemorrhaging of the cash that's going on a city level, a state level, even a federal level.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what's going to happen and how his cutting the taxes by 20% and saving each family $200. Does anybody understand it?
I mean, it's great for people that don't understand math. I mean, the reality is that irrespective of who becomes the mayor, the pension obligations are huge.
Oh, there we go.
They're huge. I mean, this is what whether you're talking about taxpayers taking more of that burden, whether you're talking about the individual person that's paying into the pension, the system is out of whack. And as young government, what we're about is being able to educate people from a centralized way of talking about things. People don't really understand what this is a battle about. Yeah. Young people, irrespective of what happens, whether retirees have to pay more or less, younger workers, newer workers are going to pay more into the system and are going to get back less. Yeah. And if we don't get that fundamentally worked out, then we're going to end up seeing at some point in the future, you're going to see younger people and workers, just like you saw in Egypt, just like you saw in Tunisia. You're going to see people begin to start realizing that, these elections are not about characters. They're about causes.
Yes.
And that those causes have a huge impact on their lives. And when you have to pay more into something and get less back, then you're a servant of the system.
LeAlan, let me go to Hermene, and then I want to talk about consensus candidates, and then I'm going to go to phones. Hermene.
One thing, I hope Rahm does not raise taxes. I really hope that doesn't happen.
It's got to happen,
But here's a point that he made that I thought was a good point. You go to the store and you pay taxes. You go to the grocery store, you buy a carton of milk, and you pay taxes. Private plane, you don't pay taxes. Some of the luxury things, a limousine, you don't pay tax. Why can't those things be taxed? And I thought that was a good point he made.
Well, more for us, your gym. Like
for
me,
I don't want the gym or the
gym.
Please don't do the gym.
Well, don't
do the gym.
I don't have a private jet either.
What he was talking about.
You can use private airplanes and limos.
There we go.
You know, it's okay. But somewhere, if you got a $600 million, this is just basic business 101. If you got a $600 million deficit, you're going to do something to raise revenues. So what can the government do to raise revenues? They only got one stream, right?
Oh, Lord.
And that is to raise taxes. Hope he doesn't do it. But you want him to cut the pensions? No.
Well, I mean, where does job creation fit into this, though? Because, is being mayor or governor or even president, does that basically mean, okay, let me campaign like I'm not, and I'm going to say I'm not going to raise taxes, but the minute I get in, I know I'm going to have to say, hold up, Hermene, let me go to Amy.
Well, real quickly, Rahm even said, is it throwing the line out there, I'll cut my salary and I'll cut my staff's salary. I mean, it's the beginning, but it was an idea.
Yeah, truly.
But
truly.
Is that going to make a difference?
I think to a point that LeAlan was making earlier, you've got to look at these candidates for what they say, for what they message, for what they stand for. The candidate is one thing. When they get in office, it's another thing. They're usually not consistent. We play personality politics. Who's got the best personality? Who's the cutest? Who said this? Whose makeup was good? Da-da-da-da-da. We play those kind of things. But you better listen to what these messages are, these people, because we've got some serious problems.
Miguel Devalle is not charismatic at all, and he kind of got lost in the shuffle because he's not charismatic, because he doesn't have a strong personality.
Yeah.
Good manager.
But he probably, he arguably has the best message. I've seen him in 2 debates where he pretty much pulverized the competition. Let me take a phone call,
He's
LeAlan.
the Harold Washington of the campaign.
Oh, I like that.
Analogy.
I like that.
Yes.
Caller, are you there? Mabel, thanks for calling. Off 63rd. Mabel, talk to us.
Hi, my name is Mabel James. I'm a senior citizen, and I'm a black female. And I want to say they need to just get off the tax thing, because anybody get in going to raise taxes.
Right.
We have a deficit here. Then the next thing is the race game. He's a Jew, one's Hispanic, and that needs to stop. We're tired of the race game. That's all I want to say, and Emmanuel has the best message.
Wow, Mabel, thanks for your call. She said Emmanuel has the best message. LeAlan, you know, it's looking like a landslide on Rahm Emanuel. I want to ask the 3 of you this, though, before we go to break. Consensus candidacy, is this a figment of our imagination, or is this a real thing in Chicago when it comes to race, class, and gender? It seems as if Del Valle and Chico may split a vote. It seems as if Mosley Braun, Doc Walls, Van Pelt Watkins may split a vote. It seems as if a lot of those communities have been divided to the point where they're going to vote for Rahm. LeAlan, what do you think? Is there some such thing, and should there ever been any concept of consensus candidacy?
I think what people don't, I think that would be thinking about things in a 30-year-old past. It makes sense. However, there's been a fragmentation even in the African-American community in terms of community. You know, it used to be just community organizers. Now you have an entrepreneurship class. Now you have people that are really in the schools and families. So when you look at the fragmentation in terms of people's orientations within the issue, the consensus candidacy is a joke to be able to prop up a traditional way of doing things in a way and in a world that doesn't exist in that anymore. And that's where you look at Carroll and the whole consensus process. You had grassroots people, which Patricia Watkins, Dr. Patricia Watkins and Doc Walls come from. And then Carroll is more so the elitist business establishment candidate outside of maybe Hermene. But until you get to the point of that the community is fractionalized.
Yeah.
And until that is reconciled, there can be no consensus.